we are ready for TAEGO game number 3 here at PNC 2023. Brazil leads the way, Korea right behind. Let's get into it.
All right, let's get started here on TAEGO. First and only time we're going to see this map here today, so a lot of points up for grabs. And this kind of wild card map is we're sandwiching both this and Vikendi right in the middle of all 3 days here at the PUBG Nations Cup 2023. And as Paper Thin was saying earlier in the show, you know, the championship at the end of this weekend, it might be decided on which teams perform the best on these 2 maps because they are the most unique, they are the most new here in the professional PUBG scene. And let's see exactly what these teams have in store for us on the first showing of TAEGO at PNC 2023.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Again, there might be hot drops. I have heard that there was still potentially some contestant of Yeongcheon, actually. So really curious to see if that will materialize. We will see. You know, there are some center positions that may or may not get contested.
Yeah, I'm watching the drop, and I'm not seeing anything too hot just yet. For a second, I thought Denmark and Chinese Taipei might be gunning at each other, but it seems like Taipei is breaking off to the north, Denmark down there to the south. But it seems like it might be a little bit more of a quiet game.
Yeah, boo! No, nobody's hot dropping. No, they probably shouldn't. It's probably for the best. But actually, this time around, because of the plane path, it looks like Korea, I think, is going to be going to Yeongcheon. Now, that is typically Donawa's drop spot on this map, so my assumption is that should be theirs. Palace going to be USA's, and it is going to be the Northern Island most likely to start.
Yeah, almost certainly going to be this island here as the circle does go up that way, and Korean crew going to be really happy with this one, landing all the way up there in Yeongcheon. They have a handful of vehicles under their belt already, and they should have free loot over there on the northeastern side of the map with a lot of time at their disposal. Oh, wow.
Loki's going to use the glide. Where did he get the gas for this? Do they start with gas in esports mode? Maybe. Oh, no, he clipped it. He clipped it.
He's doing tricks for us.
Those wings are long.
I thought he was going to clip it again for a second.
Yeah. So.
Oh, man.
But he's actually going to be able to take this all the way to Yeongcheon. This is phenomenal. This is a really creative use of the glider. Yeah, why not?
We didn't get a hot drop, but we got Loki driving one of these things.
Amazing.
I'll take it.
This guy just such an absolutely brilliant player.
Was that a VSS at his feet? I'll pick that thing up, man. I'm a big VSS enjoyer.
Me too, me too.
I know a lot of these pro players never use that thing, but yeah, I'm a fan. I love that gun.
The angry beat cannon is
angry beat cannon.
Yeah, it's really good. I swear.
Look at this. We're busting out all the vehicles here for Team Korea. We got the mountain bike.
But Rosita Jr., if he sees this, Loki's Soul is just,
he's a calculated move.
He knows. They want to try to pick this solo player up. They caught this, I think, in the parachutes. I think they noticed this.
Yeah, perhaps.
They want to try to punish.
Well, one of the benefits of that bike is it's very quiet.
It is super
Listen, it's
quiet.
right on your heels. And Nonix is also coming in. Looks like he has a DMR.
This is nuts. I'm a little bit surprised. I mean, I know it's more center circle. They spotted him. Soul's relaying that information over to Anonix, and Rosita Jr. completely unaware.
Already has a 2 vest and 1 helm. But man, team from South Korea has some really good guns to come in with this. Soul has an AUG and I believe a Mini 14 with a 4X. Ox also coming in with a scope there from the hill, and they are hunting this guy.
Yep, they've got the angles covered, and Onyx here gonna hold the trigger.
He has no clue.
Yep. They're going to wait until they've got him out in the open. But he might be able to get out just fast enough that they can't do anything about it.
This angle is perfect for Rosita.
It's
the only blind spot between these 2 players. And actually, he might have caught wind of it as his teammates from Thailand just kind of peering in on that compound.
I think you're right.
Somehow they caught wind of this.
I think you're right.
I thought for certain that this was going on unaware.
Well, this is on the southwestern edge, by the way. Australia, Germany, just kind of sizing each other up a little bit. And, you know, Australia trying to probably control that bridge. It's a I don't know how to explain this, a double-decker bridge, I guess,
Okay.
for lack of a better word, right?
Yeah.
There's an underpass and an overpass on that bridge, so it's kind of makes it a little bit more forgiving as far as bridges go in PUBG to rotate across it.
Meanwhile, Turkey making their rotation in right now. About dead center on this circle, if I'm not mistaken here. Thailand and Korea right at their doorstep, and Turkey had a pretty rough start in the first 2 games of this series with hot drops on Vietnam both times in a row. Now Xavier is going to let one vehicle pass. He's going to let the second one go too. Suppose him being out in the open here does not want to trade his life for the life of someone else.
Yeah, Xavier opting to just tiptoe through the tulips there. Doesn't want to really reveal his position, let the UK go by. And, you know, that's generally Chinese Taipei style. They're in international events.
Oh,
Australia, though, oh boy, Imhak, Kane, they're ready for this. Imhak not able to find the opening spray, but it is going to be Wakakamukau taking down Kane.
Nice spray right there with that AUG.
Oh my God.
He's on the hunt right now for Imhak.
Imhak's dead. He just has no chance.
Oh!
Okay.
Barely able to get him. 11 HP. That was a valiant defense there by Imhak, considering the angle that he had to deal with. And so many guns from Team Australia. And Japan just got absolutely ambushed here.
Yeah, the 2-2 split going to be punished this time by Australia. Some much needed points for the Aussies. Mexico now sneaking in behind this. And this is the interesting thing about the way that Germany likes to play, is that they're kind of individual. They don't mind kind of making calls for themselves, making plays for themselves, trying to see if they can punish. Tiggleton, I think, decently aware of this, but those shots from the other members of Germany kind of not really going to help Mexico out in terms of finding any damage.
Yeah, it's Chris just trying to find what he can find right there at that angle, but unfortunately for him, unable to connect. Meanwhile, for Team USA, where are we exactly? Right south of Turkey, just to the northwest of Palace. A nice center position given this circle, but one that can be a little bit precarious considering how much population there is surrounding this position. And the interview's ready. Let's see who we hear from. Oh, perhaps not.
Wait.
Just one moment. There we go.
It feels pretty amazing. It's always a great achievement to be voted, or I personally made MVP, so it's just a huge achievement as a player to come here, and I did get to come last year as well, but hopefully we actually prove ourselves and dominate everyone else this year. Well, I just joined Sonics and I haven't actually played any games with them yet, but I guess nothing's really changed for me personally because I'm not, I haven't played with them yet, but I hope I dog Tig, put him in his place before I'm on the team,
I love that.
It's so funny. Like there is a lot of kind of pride between Tiggleton and then a lot of the Americas players who are his teammates, current or new. And Tiggleton said that he's trying to one-up Shrimzy. Apparently, they've only really scuffled with each other one time in PNC history. It was like a 1-0. I think Shrimzy's up on him 1-0 or something, but they were tweeting about it. But Kickstart wants to get on it too. I mean, that guy. Absolutely nutty fragger, so.
Yeah, last chance, right? Here at PUBG Nations Cup before he becomes your teammate.
Exactly. Okay, looking to change their destiny in this game. Denmark as well with their first appearance at a PNC. Trying to see if they can find some momentum.
Yeah, already off to a pretty good start, although they haven't had a fantastic showing in either of the first 2 games. They're ranked 10 overall right now with 9 points in total on the board. Certainly a good first showing for them here on day 1 of their first ever PNC.
Yeah, look, it's going to take a little while probably. I mean, these guys, like you said earlier, very strong players, professional players across a lot of different events. But this is their first opportunity to really showcase as a country what they can do. Because they're just going to look to rotate coast. And the coast on this map, pretty forgiving. There's a lot of space to work with, a lot of rocks, a lot of dips. So this is kind of how I like to maneuver on this map. Try to use those, and disaster striking once again for the UK.
I'm getting flashbacks to Chinese Taipei in the last game from this long distance with DMRs just raining hell on everybody around them, and that's going to be Fex going down for the UK. Rough start here for the Brits. Only 2 points in total on the board right now, and here in map number 3, already down to 3 men at 9 minutes. It's a good pick by Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, they look really good so far. I would love to see them keep it up. Again, such good players, a lot of history, I should say, with that Chinese Taipei team. So certainly would love to see them make a run here at PNC. There come the crates. And as those of you know, TAEGO, it's more than one crate that comes down, and the loot's kind of, obviously the red one's the normal sort of high value crate, but the rest of it can kind of differ. It can just be like an M4 and some 5.56, or it could be like, level 3 helmet, stuff like that. So, and if we're not even going to flirt with any river, we're just going to cut it out right away.
Yeah, straight to the north, centering on Godok. So a lot of these teams that are already playing center right now, such as Thailand and India, are going to be very happy with this rotation, whereas you just look at the great migration there at the south of the map. Japan, Australia, Vietnam, Germany, Canada, Denmark, China, Korea, and Turkey all rotating in already. Want to be the first ones into this next circle, because in a circle like this one with 61 players alive, it's oftentimes first come, first serve to those prime positions.
Exactly. Crazy out ahead of Denmark. And it looks like Denmark's going to try to cut in between them, but there's a lot of teams lurking. Turkey has found some of these houses just to the north of Thailand. Denmark flirting with disaster here. China had pulled up. They're going to have an opportunity to do some damage, but so far no connections found.
That's a really tough angle there for China, with the terrain being what it is and those large rocks. So Denmark just going to pull into this nice little tip right here. Hopefully find some cover. You can see from that shot that our observer is graciously giving us, China really doesn't have an angle to work with there on Denmark. So it's one less thing to worry about for them.
Yeah, the problem for Denmark is those cars got beat up.
Yeah.
There's some flimsy vehicles on this map. The Pony does not take damage well. As fast and as maneuverable and fun to drive as it is, the one weakness as it has is it is made of paper mache.
And Canada now just getting propped up on that hill. Not too much to be found in their vicinity, while Vietnam starting to rotate in, and they have a lot of room on this hill. There's India to the east with a very tightly clustered 4-man squad. You can see Duck just kind of scoping that out right now. But besides that, Vietnam has a lot of area to play with. Meanwhile, Korea here in this nice little hill compound, just playing defensively, kind of reminiscent of the way that they played in match number 2.
Yep, just to the northeast there of Godok, and just going to be vibing. I don't really see anybody even considering messing with their territory, so nothing to worry about for Team Korea currently. Nothing to worry about really for most of these teams. This northern part of TAEGO plays a bit like Sandhawk, oddly enough, because of the way the terrain and the trees are. A lot of players and coaches have told me that they kind of feel like this northern island is a bit Sandhawky.
It feels like it might be a little bit more safe than Sandhawk, though.
It is.
There's a lot of different angles that these teams have been able to find themselves in that are just impervious at a long range. Opposite of what we just saw at the last 2 maps on Miramar, where everyone is just DMRing everybody else. And I feel like it's probably not going to be until the next circle comes in that we get some real action, although Tannenwald trying to find an angle right here. There's 2 bodies in the front seat of that truck. Is able to get a couple of body shots, and actually Tingleton there with a headshot on the Mini 14, and he's going to get the flush maybe. Trying to get it.
Yeah, looking for the feed.
Barely couldn't get the feed. I am shocked. I thought he had him dead to rights.
It looked like he might have just enough of an angle. You're right. He could see the feet, but the shot's just not able to connect. Tig thinking about the frag. Gonna go up and over long range.
Oh, wow.
Does he have the trigonometry? But Snakers had gotten around the corner. It was a good grenade, but Tingleton just a step too late.
That was a nice nade. He had 3 more in the bag, too. So a lot more nades coming in. That one also very good. Just right on the other side of that box as the circle's going to center up a little bit to the northwest.
Look at Vietnam. They are just like out. I mean,
Yeah.
they are completely out on that ridge line to the north of Godok.
I mean, up until now, that ridge line has been completely safe. They've had nobody contesting it, but now with the circle closing in, you got to think that they're going to consolidate their position a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll see. China now roaming in. Right behind them is Chinese Taipei, and Savior, he's going to be gunning there with the AUG coming out of the car. Full spray down to long score, only 1 body shot connecting. This Chinese Taipei would love to try and clear this path ahead of them and make it a little bit easier to rotate back in, because you know that once China stops, it's going to be very hard for Chinese Taipei to actually break into this position. But so far, the drive-by is just not really able to manifest anything. So Chinese Taipei got to be content to just hold on to the corner of the circle, play the edge. China going a lot deeper, though.
Korea going to make their move as their compound was removed from the next circle. So opting to go center, phase 3. A little bit of old school Danawa in the playbook there. Gustav has the knock onto the Mad. Eggs left, spots out Clories. Clories, oh, great cover there from Himas. That is what you want to see from the superstar from Vietnam. Gets the knock onto Eggs left.
Yeah, a lot of good support for the teammates now. And Denmark trying to break this position from Turkey. They get one knock. They get two, in fact, as Code Marco and Schofield both go down. Now Latza going to try and fight back here with a frag, but he takes a ton of damage himself. Actually, so much damage coming in. I believe double frag grenade somehow survives with 18 HP. First aid is popped, M4, but he's flashbanged. And now Beamy's getting closer and closer, paper thin.
Not much you can do, man. These compounds are tough to hold. There's a lot of little windows you can fit nades through. The doors are wide open. There isn't a ton of cover on the inside. It's going to take an absolutely heroic play here from Laza to get out of this, and not to mention he has Thailand on the other side.
Yeah.
No.
It's some nice attempt at spraying, but there are just so many different angles you have to cover there as Laza and Turkey is going to get mopped up here by Team Denmark, who had an excellent breach on this position and now have pretty much the north side of Godok to themselves.
Yeah, a little bit of long-range damage there from Team Thailand does give a knockover, and actually I can see Chinese Taipei using that moment to rotate into Godok as well. So, again, good coordination, good comms, good kind of macro play from Chinese Taipei, and Himas is absolutely just a nightmare on this map. This is him at PGS2 all over again, just destroying on TAEGO.
Feels like he's really starting to get warmed up here with these DMR shots. First one was covering his teammate Clories as he was under nade fire, and then that one, absolutely fantastic, gets yet another knock.
Well, let's see where our next circle is going to go. Seoul now continuing to pick apart Team China. A little bit of pressure onto Vietnam too, but it's going to hard shift once again. Down to the southwest, Team Canada in a prime position to find some good value out of this one, and they're going to rotate to the back of the hills, try to kind of consolidate this western edge.
Yeah, Canada, one of the only teams that really take big advantage from this hard shift down into the southeast, is now China's going to have a hard time rotating all the way out. You see Crazy 112 pops that heal, immediately gets in the gotcha. He's going to try and rotate in, but Cloris from Vietnam trying to make him pay for it. Does get some damage done. Not enough, though. And now China continues this perilous run, and Pure Boy with a fantastic spray. Eventually does get hit by the car by Eggsleff, but he gets two knocks for his trouble. Japan doing huge damage.
Oh, what a spray. Pure Boy there, holding it down. Run AX with a Groza. Gustav from behind softens and finishes up Run AX. So China given a little bit of breathing room, potentially. Gustav still had just enough an angle to tickle Longsker. Longsker able to get the heal off, and now USA gonna be sliding on in to the middle of the circle. Korea trying to play the northeast side. A little bit of damage to Chinese Taipei, but they're cutting in towards China.
Evan from South Korea now with a spray, gonna try and make these rotations a little bit more perilous as LFP1 with a good shoot down there on Honey Badger as another UK player is gonna fall. They now only have two men up, and I do not think that Vard is gonna be able to redeem his teammate there as the bodies just continue to fall. Now China taking a lot of damage. That's Leo going down from Chinese Taipei as Show is fighting back. Chinese Taipei and China really in a battle over here on the northwest side of Godok.
It's kind of become mutually assured destruction.
Yeah.
Neither team is really able to profit much off of these long, protracted battles across multiple rotations. UK Vard barely able to get through. I mean, one shot on him and he's done. So he needs to just hope that nobody sees him, but he's got Korea right in front of him. Now Zennan gonna try to push down the hill. Show cannot be rezzed by Longsker in time, but Nurens, it's actually Thailand who's going to bail out China.
Yeah, coming with a 3P. I love that prone spray there by Zennan. I mean, he had that lined up perfectly. If there was a Chinese player in that sight line, they were gonna be going down, but instead getting bailed out from the crossfire there.
Gut check here for Team India against Korea, coming off of a big win in the previous game. There's also Brazil and UK, the spread out players of UK Vard. It's been absolutely nuts at PNC in the past. Can he, yeah, I was just about to say, can he come through? You bet. He has got one, Klib gets another, and Korea's just got to sit in there just going, well, is anybody even going to get over this hill?
And just biding their time right now, playing it really conservatively is South Korea as Haven Finally takes down Heaven there from Team Korea. So Korea in a little bit of a more perilous position now with only 3 men up on this hill and surrounded by Brazil, India, UK, and Vietnam on all sides. It's going to take a miracle for them to be able to recover from this correctly. The circle shifts even more to the west. Nades now coming in. Tickleton behind all of this, was able to get a knock. Now Soul fighting back, gets LFP1 there with a great spray on that AUG.
Yeah, and Korea's not happy about this third party from Brazil, and they're trying to punish it. But Haven's got Soul on the bad side of the circle. Cannot find the shots before he has to reload. Soul getting tagged from behind, doing everything he can to survive. Throws a grenade in desperation to try to get away. Looks like he might have done it. He might even pick up the kill for it. LFP1's going to bleed out. Really well handled here by Soul.
Micah behind all this, got 2 kills there with the Molotov, able to finish off both Adam and Shinobi, and now Anonix trying to escape. Korea somehow still has all 4 men up. Despite all these attacks coming in, all these 3Ps, Korea's been able to remain resilient here on the top of that hill, slowly working up their full HP, and now these other teams, they have to start thinking about working their own way into the circle as Brazil is doing now. Aisaki from Vietnam is going to try and get the spray off, not able to find enough damage, although Sparking's vehicle is burning.
Yeah, and that's that flimsy pony I was talking about. Even though you're not hitting Sparking, you're hitting that pony and making it borderline unusable for another rotation potentially. What a flank out here from Vietnam. What control of their space. Yeah, they may not have a ton of kills, but they're doing a really good job of making sure that nobody's going to be able to get into that northeast side.
At the same time, huge props to Team Korea to be able to retain all 4 players up, despite all the third-party attacks that were coming in. And now it's quieted down a little bit there on the northeast.
And now Korea's trying to box out the UK, and then Vietnam is going to dig their heels in and then try to box out Korea. But now Korea flanking down, trying to finish what they started over here. Vard done and dusted, and it's actually going to be Kino from Denmark who's going to pick up that point. So Denmark continuing to have a pretty good game here. 9 kills already for them. T-Bone gone to Anonix's spray. South Korea has another fight ahead of them, but Vietnam's attention isn't fully invested towards this eastern edge.
No, they're working with a 2-2 split. They have Duck and Haisaki looking at the Brazilian team all the way far to the north, and now Cloris is the lone player, as you see on the mini-map right there, taking some shots on Team Korea. So Korea, they have a little bit of area to play with. Denmark has 3 players to their south. Vietnam with his 2-2 split doesn't have the hardest clench on that top right portion of the circle, and Korea, you can see them, they're just trying to maneuver with these vehicles, trying to find some way to work it in. But Vietnam, looking at the minimap, the Doritos, all eyes on Korea right now, as Heaven's gonna be giving some firing support there on the background. That's gonna be Anonix rotating in, but then he does get knocked by Duck with a great spray coming out of that barrel. Soul and Anonix, the 2 lone players in that vehicle, both get taken out, and now Loki and Heaven, the foot soldiers here for Team Korea, on the flank are gonna try and work their way into the circle.
A phenomenal spray there from Duck Juice with that barrel, finding 2 headshots onto Korea, and they are trying to fight their way through, but Vietnam not having any of it. Soul's gone as well, and Korea down to 2 players. They try to find some way through. Circle's gonna hard shift down to the south. Sparking up and over though. Brazil, surprise attack from behind. And Haisaki is gonna pay the price. Not much right now that Vietnam can do to help Haisaki out.
No, Himas is gonna rotate back up north to this hill and try and consolidate with his teammates a little bit there, as they have Brazil still on the northern edge and Korea to the southeast to contest with on their path into this circle. And I mean, unless they can handle these neighbors to the best of their ability, as Loki just pops off on Denmark.
I think Loki was looking to see if he had a frag grenade. Oh my God!
Wow.
BB? He got out of his car and it blew up on him. He was trying to get out in time, but Loki just ruined Denmark's round. Still a really good one there for Denmark. Tons of kills.
And that gives Korea actually a chance to just focus on Vietnam. And although it's going to be a perilous one here, especially with Rusted Head Jr. getting that headshot there on Loki, it's going to be a difficult journey for them to actually find their way into this circle, because given how little of that side of the road is left on the northeastern side, you got to think the only one team is actually going to be able to hold on to it. Everyone else has to find something else, or they're going to die trying.
Vietnam maybe biting off a little bit more than they can chew there. That angle for Brazil could be really, really devastating. But Himas
again with a DMR. He has 5 bullets left in the SLR. Can he get one more knock? He's looking for the heady here on Haven. Not able to find it just yet. Now is Heaven coming in on Vietnam. Gets a lot of damage done with the spray. No knocks, however.
Oh my God, it's just madness here. Germany getting involved taking down a lot of Brazil. Heaven had Himas out in the open, but couldn't find the knock. Duck Juice weak as well. Clory's trying to back off Korea with some utility, but it's going to be the vehicle explosion that takes Duck Juice down. So Heaven going to get the credit for the knock. Loki now trying to guard this edge. Should see those grenades coming out. Grenade in front of him does a ton of damage, but out in the open gets one, but finally Korea's going to be taken down.
I mean, Heaven and Loki just caused so many problems for all of their neighbors there. It was a valiant effort in the last moments, got a lot of kills for their trouble. And now Vietnam's going to try and salvage this situation, work their way into the circle, but you can see it's Chris already looking to cut that off. He knows that Vietnam is battered and bruised here, trying to lick their wounds, get these reses on the top right side as the blue closes in. There isn't much time to heal, and if it's Chris can actually corner them out, he can find 2 good frags.
Yeah, exactly. And not only 2 good frags, but control over the entire northern half of the circle here.
It's a lot of damage, though.
Yeah, it's Chris. Has to back down momentarily. Himas is just absolutely fired up, but Mika is going to shut him down. Clory's now the only one left on his feet for Vietnam, and USA on the other side of things has a bit of an angle. Himas does end up falling. Clory's now going to have to play salvage.
Yeah, and Clory's probably just going to try and sink this one out for as best he can, considering that he has 4 men from Germany there on the west side and a dynamic duo for Thailand. Actually, 3 players in that shed for Thailand, as I missed one on the minimap. All hanging on that shed, but I mean, this circle continuing to shift to the west. For Australia and USA, this isn't too problematic. Even for Germany, it's not that bad. But for Vietnam and Thailand, this is going to be a gargantuan task to actually find their way in.
Yeah, and I think the real question for me now is how much avoidance of damage can Germany and USA find? Like, if they can avoid, this is not great. Clory's huge knock into Mexico. So I thought Germany might be able to kind of put themselves in a winning position, but right now, Clory's is not having any of it. He's going to see a player coming out. Flood as well getting involved in the mix. I don't know what's going on with Thailand. They keep knocking each other off screen.
I thought he got a knock on the guy for a second, but he actually got his teammate, yeah.
It's the second time it's happened. I've seen it in the kill feed before, and now the crossfire on top of Germany may spell disaster here on TAEGO.
Yeah, it just took them a little bit too long to actually clear Vietnam. They never could finally get that kill on Clory's, and then they were spread too thin. They had players on the other side of the road, and with both USA and Australia breathing down their neck, not to mention Thailand, it's just crossfire after crossfire. 2 men knocked here for Germany as they're trying to salvage this situation. Finally, Vietnam is eliminated, but Germany with just 1 man up. 2 of the knocks do finally get flushed as Flood is going to town here.
Yeah, Flood having a really good one. Luke has been knocked, so Tickleton looking to go for the res. Flood keeping his eyes on that northern edge. Knows there's at least 1 player left up there. It's Chris. Gonna have to try to lock things down. Snaker's gonna get knocked by that grenade, just close enough to it. Huchel springs into action, cannot find the spray though, and gets backed off and taken down.
He needed that spray to connect there on Trimsy. Instead, it's gonna be USA fighting back. They do lose Snakers as he was too far away to get rezzed. And now it's 3 men up for the USA, 3 men up for Australia, and it's Chris, the lone survivor for Team Germany all the way in the north. And if you're It's Chris right now, you just gotta bide your time. Try to rat this one out as best you can. Get any points you possibly can.
Yeah, you gotta hope that USA and Australia beat each other up a little bit, and you're able to find that moment to come in and finish the job and maybe sneak a win out away from these 2 teams that have a lot of players that play in the same region, very familiar with each other.
Circle pretty much centers up right here. Not too difficult for either the Australian team or the American team to really try and find their way in on this one. A lot of terrain to play with here with the soft cover of the trees and also these hills. But Australia, for now, looking at the minimap, it seems like they really want to clean up Chris. They want to be able to set their eyes on the USA alone. And USA, hearing these shots and knowing that they're not connecting on them, should have a good idea that this is the situation unfolding on the north side of this map. So America, I'm wondering whether they're going to actually strike on this one. It seems like they're being very patient, waiting for the opportunity. They have a little bit of a slope with this hill to work with, but ultimately Australia does have the high ground. They just really want to get It's Chris as a thorn to their side out of the equation before they butt heads with the US team.
Yeah, Australia knows they have a difficult run down this hill when they have to make it. So if they can remove It's Chris from the equation, it makes it a little bit easier. But I like what America's doing here. I think they're just going to be watching for Australia to come down this hill and see if they can catch them out in the open. And Australia just moving cars into position. I think Luke 12 is in, Flood's vehicle will be in here shortly. So actually, I think you're right here, State. I think there's just enough of this high ground left for Australia to just kind of scooch right towards that edge.
Yeah, at least with this circle. We'll see what happens with the next one, though, because they're going to have to get closer and closer to that center. As time is starting to run out, but it's a little bit of a standoff here. As USA and Australia, they both know that It's Chris is up there on that north side, and if they clash and the knocks happen, It's Chris could easily start to mess up one of their days. So it's very conservative play from both of these teams right now, biding their time. 12 seconds left on phase 8.
So It's Chris able to just wiggle his way in. Flood gonna keep this pony alive. Wants to have the ability to maneuver, maybe set up a flank in the late game fight, try to take position, keep USA pinned down. Smokes are gonna come out here. Australia knows they have a move to make, and it is a dangerous one. Downhill, somewhat out in the open. Not a lot of foliage is actually gonna cover them from USA's position.
No, there's a lack of soft cover here. They really have to play the edge of this one. H-Wind, even through the smoke, able to find a body shot right there, as they're considering moving the vehicle deeper in. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they did a 2-1 split, especially if they're able to clean up Chris here, as they do have a very good idea where he is. I think he might be just outside of nade range. We'll see if that one from Tickleton's good. No, it actually is in nade range. They just got to do the trigonometry. But every single one's been too far. It's tough on these slopes to get it perfect. And yeah, here comes the split.
Exactly. I totally appreciate what Australia's doing, but because they weren't able to clean out It's Chris, this may be tough. Although now he's kind of messing with USA. Kickstart takes a whole bunch of damage there, has to back down. That's going to open up some space here for Tickleton to push, but H-Wind having none of it. That's another one. Trimsy springs to action. Flood down. Only one player left for Australia, and it is the superstar Tickleton. It's Chris trying to see if he can use this moment to get some points, but the grenade is perfect, and it's going to be the USA taking game number 3.
Man, what a win there for the USA. They were playing on the low ground. They knew that they just had to bide their time and wait for the Australian team to get flushed out by that phase 9. Eventually, they were going to have to crest over that hill, and that's when America could actually strike. And It's Chris, to his credit, I think he got one more point for his team right there. Was able to get a flush on one of the knock players, but America just playing that one perfectly. They did not overplay their hand. They played it slow and steady. They knew that time was on their side, and Australia just never able to get Germany out of the equation meant that the issue they had coming down from the top of that hill was even more difficult, and that's going to be America picking up a lot of kills. The first place finish and 7 kills in the bag.
And this is just kind of continuing where the Sonics left off at PGS2 with, you know, H-Wind really seeming to understand this map incredibly well, understands the angles, understands the positions that teams have to maneuver through, and working it, calling it to perfection here, and a great job supporting him